Hi guys, and welcome back to the Film Reelcast. I'm Stuart, your host. It's that time of the week. It's Mandalorian time, and this time it's Chapter 11, called The Heiress. And just before we get into that, a reminder to please subscribe and leave your comments. Thanks to Stephanie, to April, who've done that. Honestly, leaving the feedbacks, leaving the likes, and subscribe as well. It really means a lot to me to know that you're enjoying these videos. Also a reminder that we've got the audio podcast on all good podcasting platforms. We've got over 100 episodes of various films of all types: comedy, romance, adventure, everything. So just check that out as well. And Cobra Kai and The Shield that I've been reviewing as well. So, and I've also just done Would You Rather, which is just a review of a horror film stroke black comedy and a thriller. It's a really good review. I'm really pleased with it. It turned out really well. I've got some really good feedback. So just watch that, check that out. It's on my channel as well. Okay, so on with chapter 11 of The Mandalorian, which is called The Heiress. So if you remember from chapter 10, they need to go to the planet Trask. And the introduction is a very short one. It just sees them crash land on planet Trask, which we believe it is, in the docks. And as they're landing, you see someone who's from the same species as Admiral Akbar. As the Razor Crest comes down, it's just about to touch down, and something goes badly wrong and it flips over and lands in the water. A short introduction, but a good one. I mean, looking at that picture, it really looks like they've modified an old AT-AT and turned it into a crane. By the looks of the legs and the body, it really resembles that classic shape of the AT-AT to lift the Razor Crest out of the sea. I mean, a great idea using the AT-AT as a crane. Right, so the Frog Lady has just met who is obviously her husband in a really lovely scene. They meet at the docks, they run, they cuddle each other, they look at the eggs. It's a really, really touching scene. While they're looking at the eggs, Mando looks at the child as if like, I know you're hungry. And thankfully, he didn't eat all the eggs, otherwise it would have been a really shitty reunion for all of them. But it's a really touching scene after all this time that the Frog Lady and her husband have finally met. And as they're walking away, you see this shadowy figure, hooded, hiding behind some boxes. At the moment, I don't know who she is. I don't know if, I presume it's a she, whether it's good or bad, or when they're going to come into it. But it's probably going to spell bad news or a mission for Mando. So they go into this bar, and in the bar, there's what I believe is Mon Calamari, who's a species for Admiral Akbar. Again, if I'm wrong, I'm not the font of all knowledge, but I think that's what they're called. And there's the Quarren as well, who's also featured in previous Clone Wars episodes. They're all sitting around the table, and Mando asks if he knows anyone else, or he's seen anyone else who's come into the bar who looks like him, who's dressed like him. And he says he does, and I feel this is the start of a mission. So Mando meets this Quarren who says that he can lead him only a few hours sail away to meet other Mandalorians. So whilst they're on the boat, the Quarren who's said that it will take them to where all the other Mandalorians are says, have you seen a mother quar feed? And as they're leaning over the boat, they put loads of capsules of fish, and they put them in this kind of tank in the middle of the boat. And as he's talking about what will happen and what to expect, he uses, as you can see from the picture, he uses the staff to smash Baby Yoda into this tank in the middle of the boat. And then this massive kind of monster comes up from underneath. And what it does, it kind of swallows up Baby Yoda, but he manages to close the capsule before he gets taken underwater. And then the Mandalorian jumps in afterwards to try and save him. And then they close the top of the cage. And then when Mando tries to escape and trying to push up, that what they're doing is they're using their massive kind of like spears to poke down to push him back underwater. I've got no idea how they're going to get out of this. So 3 Mandalorians have just arrived and kicked ass on this boat, and they're all blue. I don't know where they're from, I don't know any of their names, but they've just kicked all of the Quarren's ass, and they've just freed Mando from the cage, and now one of them has gone in to save the child. I didn't expect this. This is so good to see more Mandalorians. Okay, so the other Mandalorians have jumped in and saved the child. His pod that he's in is just chewed to bits, but it's so sweet. He gets taken out, And then Mando lifts him out of his little pod and holds him like a real baby. It's so sweet. But he's okay. He's uninjured. But we've got 3 more Mandalorians. Okay, so the Mandalorians have just all lifted their masks up. As we know and has been stated before, if you're a Mandalorian, you do not show your face. So she calls herself Bo-Katan from Clan Kreese. And she calls the Mandalorian a child of the Watch. So Bo-Katan says that Mando's from an old watch of Mandalorians and that their beliefs are completely different. And this is in contrast to Mando and to what Bo-Katan believes with regards to their set of beliefs. Bo-Katan was born on Mandalore. So unhappy with what Bo-Katan says, Mando decides to get the F out of there and he uses his jetpack and just flies off. So the remaining Mandalorians leave the barge, and in a really nice picturesque shot with a fantastic sunset, you see them all flying away, and as they're flying away, they blow up the barge that they were once sailing on. It's a really nice picturesque shot, and you can see Mando from a distance watching all of this happen. So Mando and the child return back to the docks where they started from. And as they get there, there's a Quarren there who says, "You killed my brother, now I'm going to kill your pet," meaning the child. You know this is never ever going to happen. It's never going to be allowed to happen. And just as he tells him to let them pass, the other 3 Mandalorians join them. And within 2 seconds, I'd say every single Quarren is laying on the floor, dead, with their arse well and truly kicked. So as everyone does after killing a few people, they all go for a drink together. And Bo-Katan says that Trask is a port for buying and selling weapons on the black market. Weapons from Mandalore that have been taken from there. And they're there to get those weapons back, to reclaim Mandalore back. So Mando tells them that this isn't part of his mission, that he's not going to go back to Mandalore and he's not going to fight their battle. He says he needs to find the Jedi and return the child back to them. So despite not wanting to go on a mission, he now has to go on a mission and help them, because Bo-Katan has agreed to help Mando find a Jedi, find a contact to help the child. So now he has to help Bo-Katan and the other 2 Mandalorians. So there's an Imperial ship in the port which is stockpiled with their weapons. What they're going to do is wait until the ship leaves the port and then jet up to the ship and then climb onto the ship and take it over. I've got a feeling it may not be as easy as that. Sounds like a good plan, but let's wait and see. So Mando has asked the Frog Lady to leave the child there. So it makes perfect sense. The only thing that doesn't make sense, which is really worrying, is obviously his hunger for those eggs. There's a really sweet scene where you see the child looking at the tank along with the Frog Lady, and out pops a tiny baby frog. It's really, really sweet. How long that will last before it ends up in the child's stomach, I don't know. Okay, so they've just boarded the Imperial ship and there's stormtroopers on there. It's so good to see stormtroopers back again in Star Wars. For me, from the original Star Wars, stormtroopers will always be the long-lasting memory of, if I think of space, if I think of soldiers in space, it's always stormtroopers who I go back to and think of. Their uniforms, it's just so, it's iconic. It's really, really good to see. And I wonder if they're as good a shot as the original stormtroopers or whether they've improved. But they boarded the ship and instantly one of the stormtroopers has alerted to say there's pirates on board. So it's already going tits up. And already we're introduced to a familiar face. It's Titus Weaver, who was in Bosch, the Amazon crime drama. Whether he's going to bite the bullet or not, I'm yet to see, but it's another familiar face in the Star Wars universe. And just seeing these stormtroopers running down the corridor of this ship, they could be anywhere. They could be on the Death Star, an Imperial destroyer. It's really good. I'm really back into the Star Wars universe again. The way the Mandalorians gain entry to the ship is really surprising, as in it's pretty violent. Immediately, she's just got one of the stormtroopers and stabbed him in the throat multiple times. This scene with the Mandalorians and the stormtroopers fighting in the corridor, as you can see from the picture, I think personally, message me, leave comments if you think I'm talking shit, but I think this is a callback from the original Star Wars, just before Leia shoots a hole in the side and they jump in the trash compactor.
Oh God, I didn't come! There's any other way out! I can't hold off forever. Now what?
This is our rescue.
So they know there's 4 Mandalorians on board and that they're trying to get to the cargo bay and they're trying to get into hyperspace before the Mandalorians can get to the weapons. There's a really great shot on the spaceship when the Mandalorians are taking out these stormtroopers, and they've kind of got predator vision. They've got their visors down, their kind of little tracker down by the side, and all you can see is body heat. Remember from the last episode when the frog lady left the cave, you could see the body heat on the floor. They're now using that to take out these stormtroopers. If you've watched this, you know why I'm laughing. They think they've got the Mandalorians contained in the cargo control area. And it's when they let the captain know about this information that he says, where? And just as he says where, you realise why that's such a big mistake. That from this area, the Mandalorians can open the back of the Imperial spaceship and all of the stormtroopers get sucked like alien style out of the back of this spaceship. It's a really comical scene. Brilliant. It's also priceless, the look on the pilots' faces when they realise what's happened. All of their backup has now been sucked out the back of the spaceship, and it's just them three left. So, as expected, there's going to be a twist coming up. Bo-Katan says to the pilot, thanks for the weapons. He says, you're never going to get out of here. Even if you do leave the ship with the weapons, I'll track you down. She then says, the idea is to take the ship. We'll be up. We'll kill every single one of you, and we'll take this ship. This isn't what Mando bargained for. This isn't what he planned for and agreed to do. So the Imperial captain has just asked for help. He's just radioed in and said, I need backup. 4 Mandalorians are taking over the ship. And he says, if they're in the hold already, or just about to break in, there is no point. You know what to do. And he says, long live the Empire. Hail Hydra, he may as well shout out. And then he shoots both the other pilots. I've got a feeling this contingency probably involves ploughing the spaceship into the water or just blowing it up entirely. Yes, so as previously said, the Imperial captain is trying to plough the ship into the sea to destroy it. The Mandalorians need to get to the cockpit before this happens. As they're trying to get there, they're stopped by yet more stormtroopers. So in a brilliant scene, Mando sets off 2 bombs. You can see them in each hand. And then he says to the others, just cover me. And he runs towards the oncoming stormtroopers who are firing at him. They're shooting him against his armour. And he keeps running at them. And he throws both those bombs and blows up the stormtroopers. It's a really exciting scene. So they've just made it into the cockpit. Bo-Katan's got the Imperial captain. And the first thing she says, where is it? The Darksaber. She is a two-faced conniving cow. She's always bloody lying. So the plot thickens. Bo-Katan says, I'll let you leave if you take me to him. To who? I don't know. To which he replies, if I take you to him, you won't live. And then he bites on this kind of equivalent of a cyanide capsule, which like they in the war films they keep in their mouth. But he's got like an electric shock one, which fries his brain, no doubt. And he kills himself. But him? Who's him? Let me know your thoughts on who him is. I have got no idea who him is. Whether they're talking about a Jedi, whether they're talking about an Imperial, I honestly don't know. We're talking about a Darksaber. I don't know enough about the Star Wars universe to know if Darth Maul it was called like a Darksaber, or if there's a Sith around with a Darksaber. I really don't know. But there is a huge twist. These are Mandalorians, and they're after Imperial weaponry. Is it for them, or is it because they want to join forces with someone else? I don't know. I'm probably way off track. You're looking at this thinking you're an idiot. You've probably got every right to, but I honestly don't know where this is going. So this just gets more exciting. Mando asks where he can go to find the Jedi. And he's told to go to the planet, the forest planet of Corvus, where he will meet Ahsoka Tano. And Ahsoka Tano is from the Clone Wars. If it's the same one, things are going to get really exciting. It'll be so good to see a live action figure of her in this series. So we finish the episode by Mando picking the child up and leaving the Frog family behind with their new baby child. And they leave for the planet Corvus, where they're going to meet Ahsoka Tano. This was a nice episode, a short episode. It was great to see more Mandalorians in this and some really good action scenes. Again, we saw stormtroopers. Every time I think of Star Wars, I always think of stormtroopers. I think of Darth Vader, lightsabers and Luke Skywalker. We got some of that this episode. It was nice. I really enjoyed it. Okay, let me know what you thought of this review. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Whether you thought it was a good episode, whether it could have been improved, what you didn't like. Just give me some feedback. It would be great. Again, as you know, from April, from Stephanie, from people who have tweeted me, that if you do leave feedback, I will reply. I enjoy chatting to people who watch these podcasts. Okay, thanks ever so much. Just a reminder, please subscribe, please tell others. I've never admitted to be the font of all knowledge for Star Wars, but I'm certainly really passionate and enjoy these reaction videos that I'm putting up. There's Cobra Kai, there's The Shield. Next, I'm going to be doing Lethal Weapon. I'm going to do a review on all of the Lethal Weapon films. It's just going to be a short reaction, maybe a 15-minute video, just of my thoughts and those iconic films that launched Mel Gibson's career. Okay, I'm Stuart. This is the Film Reelcast. Thanks for watching.